Technology and business. So I'm going to go through some of these things. I need to recognize some of the industry relationships that we've built along the way. They've been fantastic support. We cannot do these kinds of things alone with the resources we have. Input from the public, from the other private sector businesses has been fantastic. And the collaboration that we receive. IBM, not only have we implemented their Maximo work and asset management systems, we've also been involved with them through development partnerships where we work with them on early architecture of new releases and new versions so that we can evolve those kinds of systems to meet more and more of our business needs on the municipal sector. So that's been a fantastic partnership that we enjoy and will continue. Createch, I'm not sure, Createch is here as well with us. That is the IBM business partner that helped us implement these systems. And it was quite the interesting implementation, going from a workforce that is completely paper and experience-based into a computer system that's quite advanced. And I'll talk a little bit about a few of those things that we put in place. ESRI, their GIS technology, as I mentioned earlier, foundation of virtually all GIS technologies in the world. Rolta and Orion, their GIS portal technology, allowed us to disseminate that information internally very quickly and gain some benefits very quickly out of the gate. We have the University of Waterloo, and Mark is here. There he is. Thank you. Mark heads up the Center for Advanced Trenchless Technologies. That is a consortium of the education, the private sector, and contractors that are incrementally advancing different technologies to repair pipelines underground without the need to excavate. And in many cases, those are very, very cost-effective means of solving some of these issues with minimal disruptions. And we are certainly looking forward to doing more and more of that kind of work as we move forward. BMA Consulting has been on board with us for the last couple of years, and they've been helping us do financial planning and cost of servicing studies. And they've been a fantastic resource for us. AECOM, we've been working with AECOM for the last couple of years on what's called the National Water and Wastewater Benchmarking Initiative. This is actually a consortium of over 50 municipalities, just under 50 municipalities across the nation, where, as we said earlier, if you don't measure, it's difficult to manage. So this consortium and this group has established a very comprehensive set of benchmarks so that all of us can contribute our benchmarks together, and through analysis, we can compare ourselves, not for competition, but for the purposes of identifying which municipalities are more effective in different areas. And in fact, every municipality that participates, and certainly every municipality out there, has focuses and do one or two things, or three or four, very, very, very well. And they may not be doing some other things as well. That's where these benchmarks really help us identify which municipalities are very effective at those things, and those of us that need some assistance can go to those, and we can share that knowledge, and we can all collectively benefit. So this is a fantastic resource that we're proud to be participating. We have NASCO, the National Association of Sewer Service Companies. It's actually a U.S.-based company. Our consortium of contractors that focus on condition assessments, pipeline inspections, and we're working with them on, and that's how we've dealt with the electronic transfer and the automation of those things through those standards. And in fact, we're working through the AECOM and one of those task forces with the CSA to establish a national standard so that the kinds of processes we put in place can be used with the Canadian Standards Association, and those standards that can be then employed across on all municipalities and contractors. IBM, as Mike mentioned earlier, the Smarter Planet perspective, interconnected, and intelligence. Although we've used different terms in our implementation, they fit very nicely. So we're very proud to be named as a smarter city in IBM's eyes, and very pleased to this day. We are looking at a few other items here. Business intelligence. As I mentioned earlier, the technology itself, it's not about installing a piece of software on a computer. That does not solve anybody's problem. It does not help anyone. What helps is when you take your business processes and your business knowledge and all your experience of your staff you take that knowledge and that intelligence and you put that into the technology to assist in your resources and how to managing that workflow and effectively processing those issues. So for your example, for every issue, if you call into our Public Works Department with an issue of some sort, they will classify that issue. The system already knows who's responsible for taking care of that issue, what accounts that's going to be used to charge it for, and a preliminary timeline, how it needs to be tracked. Is this a maintenance issue? Is it a repair issue? Is it a priority issue? Is it not a priority issue? It has all kinds of rules, all sorts of things. It knows exactly how to process it. That now means that people answering those phones, before, it took them 1 to 2 years to learn how to answer the phones and to be able to direct those calls effectively based on their knowledge and experience of people around them. That knowledge has now been transcribed into the computer systems so that when that issue is classified, the system automatically knows how to handle that issue, get it directed to the right people so things get done faster. And we track, and we're able to track when and how that issue is being dealt with and what the costs are, feedback on what the long-term plan is and what the resource needs are. So as we mentioned, we transfer that experience-based knowledge of staff into that system. So the system itself becomes more intelligent, not by itself, but through the knowledge that you've transcribed from everyone around you, including your business processes and practices. The metrics that these systems track allow us to quantify what types and issues and the resources needed to deal with them, but also gives you the inference of what level of services you are actually able to provide today, and gives you those benchmarks of what your targets might be down the future and how you might achieve those. It allows us, the management decisions can now take into account a much broader perspective that otherwise would not have been available to us. Just a quick overview of one of those processes. I mentioned earlier, sidewalk inspection process. We have our bike back there and a board that explains this. We have a student annually cycles 640 kilometers. That bicycle is GPS enabled with mobile computing. It tracks where that student goes to confirm that that particular sidewalk has been inspected on what date and what time. If he misses something, he goes back and he redoes it. So we ensure that we have a high quality, high assurance that every sidewalk in the city has been in fact inspected. All the defects and issues. He has a stick that he measures the trip hazard, if there is one, or any other issues that happen. The GPS captures that precise location, categorizes it. That information is a log that goes directly to our computer system. Those computer systems then analyze that information in terms of type of and nature of the defect, the severity of the defect, and does it meet certain thresholds that need either immediate attention or can be held back. Those that need immediate attention automatically generate work orders and lists in the computer systems, which are fed directly to our contractor. Our contractor then conducts that work. We track the work being done, sign off, inspect it, and the costs. And the system now knows that that work is done, when it was done, and what the costs are. That full cycle of knowledge now allows us to get metrics on what is the state of our sidewalks, what kind of defects do we have, what is the cost associated with maintaining it, and are the defect levels increasing over time, or are we able to hold steady, or are we actually making improvements? And in fact, we are making some very significant improvements since we started this over the last 3 years.